Day number 2 at DreamHack Valencia continues as we trek through Group Number A here. A lot, I guess it's not a number there, Group A overall there, but in the fact that we're still experiencing a lot of European Rocket League, trying to gauge out who is the best of the best there. But the two that have been able to move on, it is Randy Gibbons, River Rat, and of course, Renault Vitality. Hello, I am your host, Dreadnought, and of course, as always, Gibbs and Turtle.
I just can't believe it, man.
Yeah.
The River Rats are through as one of the top 4 teams.
What is Rocket League anymore at this point?
Yeah, it's nuts. We have the world champions and the Randy Gibbons River Rats through day 3 so far. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really hard to sit here and go, like, what do we expect for the rest of the day after knowing that those are the teams who make it? The most expected and the most, like, I don't want to say unexpected because they're great players, but it's like, what? Like, that's your number 2 to make it
sub,
in?
Dude, it's the super sub trend. I'm telling you, Turbo is so good in a sub role, and we heard Classics talking about it. He can just adapt to anything. He just supports the team, and he just feeds off of them and does what they need to do and fill in the holes here and there. So, I mean, it makes sense why they're doing well. It's just, the name just adds to the fact that it's just like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's kind of all over the place here when it comes to the European Rocket League. And as I said, you know, into Group B, there's a lot more North American teams if you're a fan over there, which we can take a glance at our groups and figure out where all the bricks kind of lay.
Yes, we have sent home 2 teams so far, Ghost and Ground Zero. They have fallen. Veloce, they took down Ground Zero, 3-0 sweep, and Ghost, they lost to Dignitas in Game 5. So that's why Dignitas is still here playing PSG.
And speaking of Ghosts, it's interesting to see that they fell short here. How are they going to come back? We haven't seen them in so long. Then they come here, and unfortunately, not the best results we've seen. Really going to see how they come back in the offseason. And honestly, Vitality as well, just coming through, looking great as well. 9-0, I believe.
Now 12-0. Yeah, now 12-0. So they're looking really strong going into day 3.
Nobody can contest them.
Yeah, it is, you know, it is interesting there for Ghost with how big of a time, because that was a lot of the questions we had around that roster yesterday is when you have that big of a break, is this working out for this roster or not? And it's not whether or not, like, they were scrimming or practicing, because we know that's going down in that downtime. It's just, is it beneficial in really making that team foster some growth here?
Yeah. Like, it's going to be weird because now it's 3 seasons in a row. They finished 5th or 6th. Then do they make another roster move, or do they like try out this roster for one more season, maybe get that growth that they're expecting? But it seems like that gap is going wider and wider now for North America, where we have that 4th team in Rogue looking really strong. So they might have to make some type of blockbuster move to catch up.
Yeah, and speaking of fresh rosters, that's exactly what we see from Dignitas. They're trying to do the exact same thing that you just talked about, get a fresh roster and try something new, completely different vibe that we're getting from them, and it's definitely showing on field.
And with that, I think it's important to start talking about the roster of Dignitas, because that is going to be our next series, Dignitas up against PSG.
Yeah.
And so what we've gotten a couple of games, couple of series already out of them. The biggest thing what we've got to be highlighting is, you know, Astral on the offense, you know the guy's going to be putting up some nutty shots. But on the defensive front, it's, you know, in a literal sense, sometimes a bit of a whiff.
Yeah, when they played the breaks, there was 4 or 5 plays that Astral probably should have saved if he was positioned better. And that's what cost them in that series that went to 5 games. But when he's on the offense, it's a complete different story. Even on the B stream, he hit like a triple tap as well. He's hitting shots that no one else is hitting here. And I think Violent Pet is very smart picking up Astral, because I feel like you pick up those mechanical players because they're more coachable for the 3v3 rotations. You can't really try and teach a player how to get mechanics, right? They have to learn that on their own. So Violent Panda can kind of mold Astral through this DreamHack, maybe DreamHack Montreal, and then going into the RLCS.
Yeah, and it's not just striking, it's the passing and the cross-pitch field vision that Astral has. He's a great player. I love his mentality, especially in the interview we saw. But PSG, they've been playing well today. They've been doing solid on the offense. Chaussette, the man as well, who's been doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Fruity coming in with some decent plays here, and you want to see other people get loud.
Yeah, you want to see that there, the whole team being able to step up. And a guy, as we've already talked about, recently stepping up, and I feel like even in this tournament here for them is got to be Farah. Very offensive, you know, a lot of pressure coming out from him.
So they fell 3-0 to Vitality, but everyone's fallen 3-0 to Vitality, but they kept it competitive, right? They were down 4-0 in game 1, but I loved how they bounced back. They scored 2 late goals, and they bring that momentum into game 2. Fell just short in game 2, but they kept it close, and that's what you want to see from PSG. Maybe not take down Vitality. They are the best in the world for a reason, but they still look pretty strong when they got swept.
And even though, you know, we were talking about Astral on the offensive front, the defensive front, and what we need to see from them, one thing that did happen in the differences of series here for Dignitas is everybody's starting to get involved on the gameplay, not just Astral on the offensive front, Yukio and Violent Panda both finding the back of the net.
Yeah, I want to see Yukio in games 4 and 5. It felt like his offense kind of petered out. There was like 2 ceiling bounces that he just misread that he could have scored, but his offense kind of fell apart towards the end, and we need everyone on Dignitas to be firing on all cylinders to make day 3.
Yeah, and with a new pickup, communication is the main thing you want to see. Have confidence in your teammates and their position on the field. Know where they are the entire time. And everything like that comes down to communication, that third man back, being smart and making the right decision. And Astral really coming through and trying to pinpoint where he needs to be, not trying to do too much. You know, he has so much responsibility. If he tries to force himself everywhere, it's going to create even more problems.
And that's the hardest part. When we're on the defensive side, that's where communication normally tends to break down, because you're not sure, like, if you can trust your teammate, so then 2 players go up for a save. Yeah. Like, on the offensive side, it's a little bit easier. You kind of know the flow that's happening, and passes can happen. That's what we see from Astral. He's looking great on the offensive side. Just on the defensive side, where Violent Panda's getting confused by where Astral is, so he's not going for balls, or Astral's moving up too far. So if they clean that up, they could easily be a top team again.
Yeah, it does seem like, because that defensive positioning versus offensive positioning in terms of cam and field of the rest of the field, it just is a little bit difficult there, and that's why that communication is so important. And I think that was only reiterated by the interview with Fairy P, talking about the comms of such a new roster, and that is kind of that breaking point for why they are so dang dominant in modern day.
And we heard about that with NRG as well. They always talk about that their comms are world class, right? And that's why they were so good for so long. And it's about consistent play, right? You want clean rotations when you're like on stage and there's some nerves. So as long as you play clean, then you're fine.
Yeah, and the matchup here is really interesting because we have a veteran roster who's so comfortable and they're used to each other so much. They have so much team play and experience together already. Going up against a completely new team, how will that kind of dynamic differ, and will it be able to, I guess, counter that freshness?
Well, I'm going to ask you to answer that question here, and what you think is, in fact, going to be able to outweigh the other, the experience there of PSG or some of the new mechanics here out of Dig.
I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going to go with Dignitas here. I think Astral, as long as he cleans up those defensive plays, they probably would be in day 3 already, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if he cleans up a couple of those and then we just see maybe Violent Panda and Yukio getting more involved, I think Dignitas can take the series. I think PSG is probably more favored to win it, but I'm going to go Dignitas.
To me, it feels like the Dignitas holes in their defense are too obvious. And PSG, they struggle with striking. They have all the pressure when they need it, but they can't finish. And if there's holes like that in the defense of Dignitas, I don't think they're going to be able to hold up against PSG. And that's why I think PSG are going to be the ones to take it.
Yeah, one of those situations where the weakness of one team is kind of the strength of the other, or vice versa there. It's going to be interesting, actually. Now that you pose that, I'm kind of like, ooh, maybe I need to sit on the side of PSG, but I can't. Astral, though it hasn't been perfect, it hasn't been flawless, and we've definitely pointed that, I can't help but feel like that's a bit of the jitters, a bit of the new roster, things of the like there, and then I do feel like as the day goes on, as time goes on, he's going to only hone in on those skills, and that's when Dignitas is really going to be firing on all cylinders.
So it's all about experience, right, for Astral, where he is going to improve every single day of this tournament. So compared to PSG, where, all right, that this is the same roster, they've played together so long, it's not going to be highs and lows for them. They're going to flatline at, like, here's PSG's level, but Astral is just going to keep climbing with every time he plays on stage. So, one for Dignitas, they want the win to obviously make day 3, but every time they get Astral on stage, that's going to help them so much when we get to RLCS Season 8, where those nerves are going to play a factor.
Any closing thoughts, Tortle?
I mean, Dignitas, if they had just gotten out already, I don't think we would have blamed them with the new pickup. But the fact that they're still here, Astral has so much to learn, and he's already improved a lot, I can tell. Confidence on stage, experience. It's going to play a huge factor. If he does make it to day 3, it's going to be a huge snowball for him. Let's see if PSG can put a stop to that.
Well, let's figure out who, in fact, will make it on to day number 3 here. We're going to send you over to Johnny Boy and Shogun here for Dig versus PSG.
Thank you very much, Dreadnought. And really, when we look at this sort of game, you know, the desk was saying mostly Dignitas. You guys at home clearly disagree. Very lopsided over towards PSG.
Yeah, and with Astro looking so dodgy in defense, I think you have to go with PSG here, just based on consistency, what we've seen at this tournament so far. If this is online, then maybe you can predict a totally different direction. Think the same thing for Dignitas versus the Brick series. If that's online, then I think Dig probably take it. But here, in the LAN setting with the additional pressure, looks like they've been playing better. And PSG kind of follow that same pattern. They've looked good this weekend. Dignitas, it's all about Astral, isn't it? That new boy at the top of the screen right there. He needs to stay calm when he's last man back. When he's goalkeeper, he's leaving the line too early. As simple as that. He's leaving the net wide open and giving away plenty of easy goals. If he can sort out that pretty simple fix, I think they're the favorites here. But so far, we haven't seen him do it.
When it comes to European Rocket League, PSG is the measuring stick. If you can beat them, you're a contender. If you're not, then you need to get some things worked on moving forward. Can Dignitas set themselves up as a contender and move on to day 3? Win and you're through, lose and you're out.
There's PSG early on causing problems. Astral that time does deal with the ball that comes in while he's the goalkeeper. Will he deal with this one though? It's a bounce shot. Well played again by Astral. Fruity went up a bit too high for it, flew back down mid-contact. But Astral reacted well. I don't think there's ever been any questions about his reaction time.
Well set. Watch that one bounce past him. He could get past too, but Fruity able to really read his positioning, and that zero boost is going to play up on the big man as Astral tries to infield. No one around there. Both teams trying to get some passing plays going at the moment, but neither team executing all that well. Now Yukio's chance to go for a solo play. Too heavy on the first touch, couldn't get the block. Both teams easing in on this opening minute as Yukio's shot, first real opportunity created. Finally starting to get the pressure up just a little bit. As Yukio brings it back down.
And Yukio has been looking pretty scary receiving those infield passes. That's sort of what K-Dop used to do for Dignitas way back in the day. Making so many assists for his teammates just because he puts every shot on target from that position. Yukio kind of struggled with that when he came into the roster initially, but now not so much. Hit the target well today, although they weren't able to get the win earlier on stream. Let's see if they can do that. Right now it's still tied up 0-0. They're trying to dribble it all the way, but he's going to run into multiple Dignitas defenders there. Maybe a little bit more creative line of attack. There it is. Shot set. Shot saved by Violent Panda again.
Astral. Free boost. You know, he's got good mechanics. He still makes something of it. Very creative from him. He just couldn't quite get the power to find Yukio. Now down. Shot set with an opportunity, and he's not going to miss.
That's brilliant creativity by PSG. We asked for that. We said they need to look for a less direct route to the net. Well, that'll just about do it. Shot set up perfectly in front of Fruity, and the pass made it so easy for him. Player of his level, not going to miss from that distance. 1-0 PSG.
Whenever PSG have looked solid in these majors, it usually is when Chaussette is popping off. He's going to be the catalyst for PSG if they are to go much deeper into this tournament. Still already a pretty respectable result getting to here, but they're going to want so much more. Remember, 2/3 of this roster part of the team that won DreamHack Leipzig back in 2018. Year and a half now with a drought of trophies. Want to try and change that over here in Valencia. Shot it up high, double commit. As Fruity actually wipes out Ferro on the way through. Josette by himself. Trying to set something off for Fruity. Give back to what happened earlier on. Yukio's up very quickly, removes Ferro from the play. That is a lovely clear from Fruity yet again.
Dignitas have been setting Yukio up for success quite well on those infield passes, but it has mostly been Astral who's creating chances for them, both with his own shooting ability and the passes offloading. Nicely done there by Chaussette to guide that shot wide and safely into the corner. And again, Chaussette putting in work for PSG. Like I said earlier, when he plays well, PSG play well. Right now, that is exactly what is happening. Oh, look at that pass. So Violent Panda ties things up. That is an absolutely wicked infield. Sending Ferraz clear straight back where it came from with a little bit of extra change.
Just out of nowhere, Astral found Panda perfectly. And a player of his caliber is going to bring you nothing less than a phenomenal shot. Back to 1 each. In a crucial game 1, this will set the tone for the rest of this series. Both teams scoring off passing plays. Panda waits, maybe a little bit too long. Ferrer off the backboard. Panda is going to have Astral finally moving in. They're using the backboard yet again. Astral, it's a little bit dangerous still. It's going to be over to Panda and Yukio. A little bit dangerous, but when you've got the players in position, it's not really going to be too much of a problem. Double commit. Panda, though, can keep this one going. Over the top of one. Chaussette's the final player. And Chaussette keeps it out, but might only be momentarily. As Dignitas knocking on the door. Looking to try and break it open next.
It's looking really good. Game 1 for Astral so far. 4 minutes in. Not many mistakes. Yukio with a great pre-jump save on Chaussette's shot. Both teams are passing the ball very well. Better than a lot of teams have seen it already. Look at that. Again from PSG. Threatening on the infield, but Astral shuts it down. Like I said before, he is being tested defense today. This is one of his better showings so far.
to the corner. Couldn't quite get the pinch he was after, but still maintains momentum incredibly well. One of those players that is so deadly, even when on 0 boost. Final 30 seconds now. Yukio tries to clear long. Astral's there for it. Couldn't quite make contact, but still the danger is around. Violent Panda off the backboard. A missed touch from Chaussette. Needs Ferrer to help him out. Over to Panda once again. Yukio wants to keep the play going. He does have Astral as an option, but his only real option was to get attacked by Fruity, and Fruity's the one that backed out there. Is he going to get caught? Yeah, no! And it bounces off Panda to go in.
Chaussette the beast. He just gets so much space thanks to Fruity locking up. I think it was Yukio. Goes right past Panda, or it was Panda locked up. He goes past Yukio and then dunks Astral at the near post. 2-1. You can't fault Astral too much there. He's just gone into a really, really strong play by Chaussette. This is your last chance now to tie up the game, and I don't think it's even going to stay in the air. Not even a chance on 0 seconds. PSG steal this one before overtime.
And there you go, the talisman of PSG Esports on your screen. The game winner, Chaussette. We said earlier on, we want to see him really step up. If he steps up, the rest of the team does, and proven very correct so far. What a performance from the young Frenchman in game number 1.
Yeah, he played that last play perfectly. I don't think there was any other way. He could have got the ball into the net. If he takes longer with the dribble, if he gets it on top of his car, he's probably getting tackled. He had to go that fast. And then when you're going that quickly, the only way that you can score is with a dunk. He can't get the ball past Astral, the last man. Chaussette with both the goals here. That was Fruity setting him up for success there. An even better pass for Astral. Infield to Panda for their equalizer. Now this might be the play of the game. Fruity just locks up Yukio. And then Panda's out the game. Astral gets completely ruined. Chaussette 45.
Coming in clutch at the very end. But one thing I do really like, Johnny, is that we're getting to the stage of the tournament where we're not seeing misplays. All 3 goals caused by just phenomenal vision, phenomenal mechanics. We're reaching that part of the tournament where you cannot rely on your opponents to make mistakes.
Exactly. We saw a lot of that on day 1. You know, just teams sitting back, waiting for the open net, waiting for the bad clear, waiting for the double commit. But this game has been a good example of what you do when that's not happening. You have to make chances yourself with team plays or solo plays, or maybe even an amalgamation of the two. PSG have got that in abundance with Chaussette on this squad. Just trying to bring the best out of him. It's Panda to the backboard. Fruity's going to clip it into the ceiling. Chaussette's right there to catch it. I don't think he's going to be able to catch up with it, though. Astral, he's been third man for quite a lot in Dignitas this game. So far doing a pretty good job of it. I wonder if that's something I've told him, just calm down a little bit when you're at the back. No need to rush in. Don't worry, just let Yukio and Panda pressure the ball. You just sit there when it's your turn and wait for a good opportunity to move in. Again, he's done well there. Sitting at the back post, giving it space to Yukio and Panda.
Fruity's going to be backing off here. Wants Ferrer to try and take over the defense, and should be able to get a little bit more on it than he did, as Chaussette also misses the ball, opens up space for Astral. Shot not powerful enough. Chaussette taken out of the play as well. Pass over to Ferrer, it's always running away from him. It's going to be very difficult to create too much, as Panda might get a favorable bounce. Chaussette keeping it away. No fear on the side of Astral, though. He was jumping nonetheless, despite the fact that it looked like PSG pretty much always in control, as forced to make a very delicate save that could very easily been a little bit faster and bounced off his car in.
Again, we have to say it was Astral positioning well in defense that prevented things like an own goal occurring, things like just an open net for Chaussette occurring. He's done well there. Credit where credit is due. It's not you know, flashy, it's not amazing, but it's a whole lot better than how he looked against the bricks earlier on stage. And that shot for Yukio, he hit it way too high and slowly. Ferrer's going to guide that one clear of the box. Panda doesn't have much momentum. It is 50-50. It looks like PSG are getting away with pressure pretty easily right now.
Yeah, a couple of mistakes on the side of Dignitas. They're not looking overly comfortable with their rotation. You know, coming in from a series where we've just had the Bricks, who were pretty much living on the other side of the field, and Riverat's always happy to go for a challenge. Seems like Dignitas less comfortable with that overall. Gonna be Astral, puts it to the far side. Yukio going to have to turn over to the middle there. It was always too far away. There's a level of calm right now from Dignitas. They are willing to just let the game be played as it is. see where everything goes.
I feel like they're tired of getting outpaced to the ball, though. Chaussette might have frustrated them a little bit because there's a lot of boost being used by Dignitas. Now I'm seeing players who are already supersonic just tapping that boost button. They don't want to go any slower. If they keep on playing wastefully like that, it could be problematic later on. For the time being, though, PSG have not really tested them. There was that one half chance for Chaussette in the near post. Apart from that, it's been pretty quiet at both ends of the field.
2 minutes left. Feels like this game just needs a goal to shock it into life.
Well, then we're probably going to see a kickoff goal from PSG right after.
More than likely. As Panda puts it over the top. I mean, Fruity keeping that pressure on as PSG about to ask some questions. Yukio is actually quite inviting for Chaussette. Looks for the backboard. No further than that. Yukio to the other side of the field. And that's just going to pop in. No idea where the goal was going to come from. And it just comes from a counterattack.
It's a great run by Yukio. Look at that boost management. He's just got there in time. And the air roll into the ball was probably necessary to get the shot in time. If he doesn't do that, then it's going to be much slower. So he played it about as well as he could. There was a run forward before the clear came in his direction that made it possible to score that goal before the rotations came in for PSG.
Let's see what PSG's response now is. Had a lot of offensive opportunities. Well, offensive possession. Not necessarily opportunities, though. That is the next stage that they're trying to figure out. They've got just over a minute to do exactly that. Yukio, lovely flick over the top. Astral's bump. It actually took him more out of the play than it did an opponent. Now Panda for Yukio, but Chaussette does intercept well. A miss from the Yukio might be the end of this offensive play. Now Fruity down to the other end. Very heavy first touch from him. Astral can play it to the corner, but it seems like PSG struggling to string together the right few touches to really create a play. Panda, double tap. Oh, wow, that's going to be a follow. Yukio in off the post. Dignitas have got 2 goals up.
Yukio right now is looking like the best replacement for K-Dop that he's ever looked. He's just top cornering every single shot. Real venom on all of his shots when he does get a good pass coming his way. You know, it's taken a while, but now he's finally looking like he's ready to fill those shoes. Not really too bad of a thing to, you know, take a while to figure out, though, how to replace K-Dop. It is a tough ask.
Well, I just saw a smile from him after that goal, which is something I don't think I've seen from him ever since he came on to Dignitas. It looked like he was sort of feeling the pressure of what he was asked to do. It's good to see him enjoying himself. Panda wins the challenge. Now can he take it the whole way? Lovely fake. Comes in with Yukio. 14 seconds on the clock, and looks like we're going to be tied up at 1 game apiece. Astral's shot is going to slowly roll towards Fruity. Tries to find the bottom corner. It's going to post wide.
That was a good try by PSG. The only way they were getting back in this game is with a quick counterattack just like that. Oh, Chaussette, that's brilliant. He's almost soloed the entire team, but it will be a Dignitas win regardless. 1-1 in the series. 2-0 in game 2. And I've got to say, even though Astral has been so quiet in offense compared to the Brick series earlier on today, I am so much more impressed with how he's performed overall. He's looking consistent, and that's really what Dignitas need. They don't need somebody who's going to sometimes score a crazy goal and sometimes miss an easy save. They need somebody who's going to play 5 solid minutes of Rocket League. That's what they're known for, and that is what they're going to try and do for the rest of this tournament.
It's a simple fact that you cannot 1v3 a major. I think that's something that Astral just had to get slowly used to, but this much more passive playstyle has been much more effective. Don't just waste 100 boosts, use it at the right opportunity. And that's exactly what they did in game 2, but for PSG, never really looked like they clicked offensively. You know, maybe towards the end they created a few things, but opening 3 minutes, there was 0 for them to really try and take a goal from.
The passing was certainly not as good as their game 1 performance. Now we'll have to wait and see how the rest of the series develops. Is that a consistent problem, or was it just an anomaly here in game 2? But both teams were a bit quieter with the team play. Sometimes that's fear of being intercepted. Just want to play safe, hit the long clear, hit the booming ball to the backboard, because less likely to go wrong. What a save by Fruity. Flip reset for Yukio, causing problems for his keyboard mouse brother there. But he's done well.
Gonna be down. Farah tries to find Chaussette, back down again, and Chaussette caught it on the backside of his car. Would love to have dropped it straight down to Farah. So we've seen a flip reset on one side of the field. We saw an attempted backboard pass on the other. You know, the last game started off really slow. This game, anything but.
Yeah, that's some really creative team play from PSG. Exactly what they need to surprise a Dignitas team who are looking harder to score on than they were earlier on in the day against the Bricks. And Astral is starting to make moves into offense. You know, the first 2 games here, he's sat back most of the time. That's not always a deliberate change. It's sometimes just how the games unfold. I'm sure we'll get to see a bit more of him in offense before this one's done.
PSG happy to just let the ball roll towards them and then try and set up their play, but Fruity's missed. Was a problem that plagued them back in game 2, where they were missing the ball on the actual most important touch of the play. Astral drops it down. It's going to be for Panda. Should be saved, and it is by Chaussette. Chance to try and move across, but Panda takes out one player, immediately replaced by Chaussette, who has been creating some phenomenal individual play. Chaussette still looking dangerous. Ferro the follow-up, and that should have been in.
It's got to at least be on target there for Farah. You need to test Dignitas. You didn't score at all last game. Well, you've already had better chances the first couple of minutes here than you did for all 5 of game 2. Chaussette almost soloed the entire Dignitas lineup there. Dribbles 2 then bumps the last one. Luckily for him, the shot just wasn't open for his teammates behind him.
Yukio just allowing his teammates to move into the play. That's his 0 boost now. Not going to be able to steal any boost on his way out either, because Chaussette picks it up, and Chaussette's ball carries across the field. Just working out so well. It's like Dignitas cannot put any continued pressure on the team because Chaussette's eventually getting a hold of the ball and doing whatever he wants to try and escape. Panda going to put the ball up high. Farah able to just find his teammate. Heading into the second half of the game. Yukio's right there, unchallenged. And Dignitas have 3 in a row.
Wow, that's just so easy there for Yukio as well. Astral just pops it into the middle. It comes off the ceiling, and Farah, he should be ready for that. Where was the challenge? Where was the interception? Where was the save? You know, take your pick. Anyone's going to work. He's just driven in a circle in no man's land. Dignitas are up by 1.
Half the game left to go. Chaussette trying to hook himself around. Going to be forced in by Fruity. It's quite tempting to move forward again, but it was actually Fruity going for it for a second touch. Now Astral, 100 boost on him. He's got plenty of time to do what he wants. Forces the challenge, but Chaussette works well to defend that. Still Dignitas playing offensively. Panda leaves it for Yukio. Chaussette once again forced to pull off defensive duties as he tries to keep PSG in game 3.
Astral just freestyling in there to get to the ball as fast as possible. Still not quite fast enough. PSG holding on here. Just trying to get through this period of pressure the Dignitas are applying. Set, as usual, trying to dribble the ball out of defense. He's so hard to dunk on. Chaussette when he's dribbling. Very hard to get the ball off.
It seems like he's very good at that decision. The split-second decision you have to make between beat the player and go for a flick or go for a challenge. He's not greedy when it comes to that sort of stuff. He's always happy. 1 for 1 player, fine. If I get 2 for 1, I'll only do it when the situation looks right.
That almost looked awkward there for Yukio, but multiple infield passes for PSG are not being received by anyone. We're spread a little bit thin there. At least they've managed to get out of their own half. And here comes Chaussette. He's already jumped, so there's the dodge. Double touches it off the post. Yukio with a key touch to keep it in that safe location. It's not, you know, territorially safe, but positionally hard for PSG to do anything with that.
Does look if anything's going to go in, it's going to come in from Chaussette. Either set or goal. Farah for a double tap. It's gone low. It's slowly crawling towards the net. And Yukio just claws that one off the line.
It's like pandemonium on the goal line there for Dignitas, but they got it clear eventually. PSG looking a bit messy on the rotation out. They're going to have to concede pressure for the time being. Just a 30-second and a little bit more left. And Chaussette's accidentally backflipped. It's gone in off Yukio's shot. And he's been playing an absolute blinder of a series so far, but mistakes do come in. Chaussette beaten to the ball by Yukio, and Farah again mispositioning the goal line. 2-0 Dignitas, 4 goals unanswered as well. That is the bigger problem right now for PSG.
And a big improvement as well from Yukio. He seems scared at points throughout last scene of RCS to actually take the shot. Seemed like he was often willing just to bounce off the backboard and try and give someone else the opportunity, but much more confident this time around. Even taking shots that necessarily shouldn't go in, just to test the defender. Gonna be shot set. Tries to create something. They're gonna need something before this ball hits 0 seconds, otherwise they're not gonna be able to create anything from the kickoff. Off the backboard. That is a great stop from Yukio. And that is gonna be match point for Dignitas as they look to secure day number 3.
Hey, Yukio really putting the team on his back here. Some great striking. Really good predator instincts. And with Panda and Astral also just not making many mistakes between them. It's making life for PSG very difficult. They had an easy time in game number 1 with space to make chances happen. And although Chaussette looked to be quite problematic for Dignitas at times in game 3, they've dealt with him well enough, and that's the key. Still, a much more consistent performance overall than what we saw earlier against the Bricks.
PSG now moving to 10+ minutes without a goal. They need something to get going for them. Because right now, they are up against it, and they're against a team that is, for all intents and purposes, starting to steamroll them in this series. Look at Yukio. This is just... It's not the greatest shot, but it's something he wouldn't have done 2 months ago. He would not even have the confidence to try for it.
Yeah, when K-Dop initially left, Dignitas and Yukio came in, and I don't think anybody was doubting the talent that Yukio brought to the team, but
It seemed like Yukio was his biggest doubter.
Yeah, well, the crossbar had other things to say. That seemed to be all he could do, is smash the bar, and every single time a shot would come in that you'd expect K-Dop to score, Yukio would just not find the target. But now he's found good form, and what a time to do it as well. This is their last chance in day 2, but if they make it into day 3 with a win here in the series, the clean reset, single limb bracket, they will start off in the exact same position as everybody else.
Gonna be straight down, Yukio. In the back, his Chaussette does clear. Nice boost steal as well. Dignitas pretty clean on the rotation so far to start us off. Willing to let each other do the work they're required. Astral off the backboard. It's actually unchallenged, and Astral can hit for it. Farah covers the goal line well. Dignitas continuing to smother their opponents in this series. As PSG have started off on the back foot, now Chaussette by himself. Great flick, can Panda reach it? No, he cannot. It's taken a while, but Chaussette has finally broken Dignitas.
The fact that he can get such consistently quick and deadly dribbles in 3v3 is honestly quite mind-blowing. The first touch there, just heavy enough that he can get to the goal in time before the defender arrives there, but not too heavy that he can't catch up on the ball. It needs to be absolutely perfect, both those touches. And not many players are going to even try that. A lot of players will just boom that first touch, not even go for the dribble. So well played to Chaussette. Still, bright light for Dignitas, or for PSG rather, in this series.
Fruity wanted a demo as well. So predicted that his opponent would try and go all the way. Astral, single solo play. 2 for 1 for him. It's going to be decent territory gain for the rest of Dignitas. Astral. Just giving that one over to Fruity though. Down to Farah. Straight on target, and the drought is more than certainly over. This is turning into a goal harvest for PSG.
And it's no longer just the Chaussette show. Farah and Fruity connecting with another passing play. Looking like game 1, PSG put a couple goals into the net. Now, if they can just defend a whole lot better than they did last game, this looks like it'll be a game 5 coming. What do you know? Another PSG game 5. Who would have guessed it?
I wonder who's played more during their time as an org in the scene. PSG in tiebreaker games or Ghost Gaming?
Oh my goodness, there was that one season for Ghost, wasn't there?
It was like 6 out of 7.
Yeah, almost all almost all 5 games.
They've got another one added to themselves earlier on today against Dignitas.
Came on the wrong end of it though, unfortunately for them.
I mean, they were wrong in most of those.
True, that's also the case for PSG, unfortunately. They often get to game 5, then can't quite get the job done. Of course, Dignitas not interested in any game 5s. There's 3 minutes left to win this one in 4. They already won games 2 and 3. It's a chance for Yukio, but Farah's going to come in and shut him down. And it's good to see Farah contributing in defense. It was him getting caught out positionally in the last game. Farah's a very smart player. He's probably identified that mistake, trying to make up for it. Oh, that's an open net shot wide, actually, for Dignitas. And not just a partially open net, that was wide. wide open, and it's gone wide of the net.
It's almost one of those shots that's too easy to score. As Astral moves himself forward, he might get caught on the counter-attack if Farah just puts that one long. Any further to the right, and that would have been in for a 3-goal lead. Fruity for the double tap. PSG across the board now, starting to look more and more comfortable. It was previously just Chaussette. Now Fruity starting to get involved in the action. Everyone jumping, everyone missing. Fruity plays the ball long. He's going to be the first player onto the follow-up, and he's not going to need it. 3 goals to the better. PSG trying to force game 5.
Nice little aerial display there from Chaussette and Farah as they both pass by in opposite directions. Fruity with the crossbar challenge there, puts it in after the touch on the bar. Dignitas is going to be scratching their heads on that one, thinking, how does that end up in the back of our net? This one might as well. It is going to be a PSG kickoff goal. We talked about this earlier in the day. Just like the River Rats, PSG have got a knack for this. They get a slight win on the kickoff and then put it straight on target. Astral, they're just driving away from the ball. Not ready for the direct shot.
PSG pretty much have game 4 on lock and key at this point. Let's see if Dignitas can get something going very soon. Panda up. Can he try and make this a game? No, but Yukio with a follow-up shot. And it's managed to just bounce straight out to Fruity. And they've waited so long for 1 goal, and they've got 5.
Oh no, Dignitas will not believe this. Panda's just got an assist in the complete wrong direction as he's trying to recover off the back wall. PSG 5-0. Honestly, at least 2 of these goals should not have been happening. Dignitas have sort of let this one go away from 6-0. 2 kickoff goals, 2 ridiculous goals.
Fruity's in the bottom corner just looking at everyone just going, why was it? Why did it not this easy previously?
Chaussette's at least had a little bit of a wiggle there to fake off Violent Panda from the challenge. But why do teams fall for this trap? Against PSG, why are you trying to kill the ball? I mean, this game seems like it won't matter. They've already won at this point.
Against PSG, I want to see the biggest, floppiest, most uncontrolled kickoff you can possibly put forward. I want you to be landing into the ball, not jumping into it afterwards.
I mean, there's always that new kickoff that's been coming out in 2v2 recently. It is on the diagonal spawn where you just fake the kickoff and demo the guy who's cheating, because you bet there's going to be somebody on PSG cheating every single time. Every single time there's going to be somebody there. So if you just drive straight past the ball and demo him, then the kickoff that goes straight towards your goal can be easily defended. Maybe you get a counter-attack. I've seen it work so much in 2v2 recently. Not so much in 3v3, and I don't know why, because it seems like a really good counter to teams that are cheating every single ball. A lot safer as well. PSG are just going to win the kickoff as often as they do.
We did bring up in the last series that there's a lot of teams out there that they don't focus on kickoff. It's just part of it.
It's just autopilot.
And it really shouldn't be. As you mentioned, the only set piece in the game, the only thing you've got 100% control over. And let's be honest, not only just the teams, but the players that focus on it. It's a very small sample pool. We know Doomsy is a large component of it. On the other side, you've got, classics. Corrupted G seems to have followed him along with that. In the old days, Jacob. But outside of that, I can't think of many teams and players that really utilize the kickoff fully.
Any team with Farah on it has been pretty good at manipulating the kickoffs in their favor in the past. But there's there's not too many kickoff strategies. There used to be a lot more back right and back left aimed kickoffs, possession oriented, less pressure oriented approach, but not seeing that at all recently. It's just dead ball, 150-50 in the middle, one cheating player for each team and somebody else grabbing boost every time. And it's kind of a feel-good kickoff because everybody feels like they're doing something, but it's such a risky thing to do, especially, I mean, if you're ahead 1-0 or by 1 goal, then you're making it pretty easy for the other team to get a goal back a lot of the time if the kickoff goes in their favor.
Well, just looking all throughout this is just the PSG show in game 4. Never looked like losing it, took control early.
These were the good goals.
These were the good ones, and then we
goals.
sort of get towards it's 4-0 at this point. We're just letting in more.
What is happening? We had the Farah cheat kickoff, we had the Chaussette cheat kickoff later on, we had a couple of 50-50s gone completely wrong for Dig.
It's not the first time in recent memory that we've seen Dignitas just get completely obliterated in a single game, as I'm sure the Bricks would attest to.
It can happen. I mean, kickoff goals, the Violent Panda own goal assist almost. These things happen. Luckily for Dig, it's happened in the same game, so they're not going to be conceding a silly goal every single game of the series. But this is the only one that matters now. Tournament life on the line. Game 5, PSG versus Dignitas. Who's got the mental fortitude? Who's got the focus to move on?
It is all on the line right here and right now. One game to either make it to top 8 or to be eliminated from the tournament. Fruity. He's got over to the middle, and Astral did not look comfortable about this.
Looking a lot like his...
This is going to be his biggest test.
Yeah, that was like almost versus the bricks all over again. Just driving off the goal line early. That's better from Dignitas, contesting a double touch early. PSG not overcommitting here. They're plenty boost on them, and they're grabbing all the pads on the way back to their own half. Big and small. Make sure Dignitas' counter-attack is not as good as it could be. And Yukio's completely misread that bounce. He must have thought it was hitting the ceiling on the way in. PSG right now looking like the better of the two teams. That's almost a long shot on target. Another one wide open for Fruity, but he hits the post.
Now back to the middle. Farah, he wants to go for a bump. Couldn't quite get it. They're going to try and keep the pressure on. Couldn't align the rotation well enough to get a shot off from the midfield. I do actually quite like this from PSG. It's usually quite easy after you've had such a commanding game to suddenly think that it's going to be that easy all the time. Is this going to be dropping straight down? And Panda does deal with it, but sometimes like Dignitas are having to deal with a lot of situations that don't need to be as hard as they're making it. Farah, the demo on Violent Panda, a minute and a half into this. Fruity and the rest of PSG looking like the stronger of the two teams so far, but they haven't got a goal in that time of dominance. As Astral looks for the set, Fruity clears.
Yeah, I think PSG have really missed an opportunity there. Dignitas came into that game 5 really looking tilted, at least from the 6-0 they just suffered. Certainly a lot of misplays coming in that you wouldn't expect to be happening. That's the first chance for Dignitas. Yukio contested this time as he comes for the infield pass. Still completely tied game. Chaussette looking threatening with the dribbles once again.
Yukio going to be second best to Fruity, who's winning every challenge he's been a part of so far. Farah. Can't see that one go over the top of him, as that's going to be Chaussette to the corner. Nobody in net! Chaussette makes it 1-0. PSG have got the lead.
And there it is, the Astral creeping off the goal line, reversing back in. Hesitation, clear as day. Chaussette continues his impressive run of form. 1-0 PSG.
Here we go. PSG have now got a run of 7 goals uncontested from Dignitas. Astral over the top. It's going to be followed up from Yukio. Puts it up high, forces the save for Chaussette. It's not overly convincing. Follow up. It's going to be put up as well. Well played from PSG, but they're not out of the woods just yet. Yukio gets an awkward bounce out, but there's nobody in the Dignitas rotation to follow it up. And PSG can breathe a sigh of relief. But Dignitas are going to start creeping forward yet again. Astral off the back. And he can't quite read the bounce. Yukio self-set, and he has just been destroyed. But Astral threads it through. 1-1.
Wow, so Yukio actually getting smacked away from the ball here might have been a good thing, because it's come out for Astral and he can pick his spot. It must have hit both PSG defenders multiple times on the way in, but it's gonna creep through regardless. 1-1. This is one of the most tense series we've seen on stream all tournament long. Who's gonna take it? Astral composure in defense. That's something they're gonna need for the final 2 minutes.
Panda can't get it as far as Farah. Yukio can get a big clear if he wants it, and he's going to try and follow. Jumping clear from him. He can't get any further, though. It's going to be a lot of boost wasted. He might be late onto the rotation. Yukio all the way back now. Chaussette has a few options, and it's going to be a little bit of a breathing clear from Violent Panda, but not all too much. PSG have got the midfield on lock. Can they get the challenge, though, on Violent Panda? Yes, they can, but only as far as Yukio. Yukio taps up. And Fruity clears pretty well. Both these teams being very patient when it comes to setting up the plays. PSG, though, happy to leave players further forward, and this is looking like it could be an awkward situation for Dignitas, but they've dealt with it well as Panda looks to transition.
A lot of jumpy players in the field at the moment, Shogun. Double commits are starting to happen. Players are starting to go for big dunks. Chaussette still, though, on the ground. What a threat he is! And he puts it in 2-1. How do you stop this man?
Chaussette has reached a level that I didn't think he could reach, and his level is already huge. Chaussette has put PSG on his back.
I don't think I've ever seen such a consistent threat with the dribbles. Usually such a risky thing to do in threes is to dribble every time you get the ball, but Chaussette's making it look viable. Dignitas have a minute and a few seconds left to get an equalizer. Not a bad shot. It's off target though. Still the ball inside the half, although Chaussette comes in, takes it off Astral. Will he get it into the middle? You bet he will. There's the mind game, there's the goal. Chaussette just sets it up. Spoon feeding Fruity in the near post.
He is unreal right now. If he can carry this over to tomorrow, let's say they do make it to tomorrow, PSG are gonna be a monumental threat, but they've got 50 seconds to carry on. Yukio trying to get himself in zone, but Chaussette once again keeping the play out. Fruity, lovely clear from him. It's gonna be over to Astral. Dignitas have got to start hitting the panic button straight down. Chaussette getting another save. Might not have been the best one, but it still keeps the ball out.
Gone so far though, hasn't it? He gets such distance on it with a little clip as it goes by. Still Dignitas looking for a goal back. Chaussette not the best touch. Is open for Yukio. What placement? And it is not it over.
I think Chaussette just started to get a little bit too confident throughout these plays. His first misplay in quite a while. That's going to offer Dignitas a chance. 22 seconds left. What can Dignitas do? This is a new look squad for them. They've got 22 seconds to make this count.
Ball's in their half. Dignitas have to get this one out. The boost is available in the corner. Triple commit. That's not what you want to see if you're a Dig fan. PSG with 10 seconds left still have the lead.
It's going to be Fruity. Gets the block. There's nobody on the far side for Dignitas. Fruity's gone, but they're going to have to go the whole way with this. And it's not looking overly comfortable. Astral tries to keep a little ball alive. Pharaoh with a block. It's going to drop down, but it's still available. It's still playable. As Dignitas look for the set, they cannot make it over. PSG make top 8.
Chaussette really making a case for himself as player of the day. What a performance by the young man. Fruity and Pharaoh couldn't be happier. For him and just to be a part of the team with him. They've stuck around together for so long. They've been a consistent LAN presence. But is this the one where they're going to make a deep run?
They've been a team that have been so consistently near the top, but tomorrow, PSG have that opportunity to prove that they're not just around the title, they can win the title. That is tomorrow, and they're gonna want a way of almost cryogenically freezing this version of Chaussette.
The analyst desk are going to break that one down for you guys in just a couple minutes, so do not miss out. We will see you right after this break.